the power of documenting our food, our culture, because that is what our heritage is about. And as much as things have changed and evolved, how do we go forward when we don't know where we came from? You know, so it is important, and even though we change, we don't change too much that we stray completely away. And if we don't do initiatives like the Rainbow Nation Cookery Guide, we might as well, you know, forget and lose who we are, something that has already started happening. The language itself is slowly fading. So I encourage each and every one of you here, you know, to do your part. If I can go through what I've learned, the book has also really exposed me, I would say, in a good way, the lack of knowledge that I thought I knew something and I didn't. So as I learned, you know, from the chefs and stuff. The book has also sharpened my writing skills, if I may. I'm still not there, but I keep learning, you know, and I'm open to learning. And I'm hoping to make contacts in this room that I can continue, you know, to learn and to put my country, my people, you know, on a global stage beyond just this room, but in different rooms to fly the South African flag. In closing, I would like to say to every one of you, may we continue to celebrate, you know, who we are, our diversity, and may we also continue to pursue initiatives, not only poverty alleviation, but of course poverty alleviation because it's a need, and use food as a vehicle to do so. And our culture, our knowledge, I'm happy to see what's available there. You know, I'm looking forward to those speeches. And may we use the flavors of our heritage, my heritage, to allow it, may we allow, you know, the flavors of our heritage to keep uniting us. So at this stage, I want to leave you with something. There is something we do as humans all the time, you know, pinpointing mistakes, what is wrong, you know. So, of course, that's a call for change, right? But change comes at a price, or change for the better comes at a price. So I would like to say to you, if you see me down the street, don't worry so much about how to pronounce my name and all that. It's not important. But may you remember me as the one who became the change she wanted to see, instead of just complaining and whining. So thank you so much, guys. So before I go to questions, I would like to thank each and every one of you in front of me right now for your time, for lending the ear. I would also like to thank CPUT, really. It's the funniest thing. The first person, you know, who received me at the gate, I felt right at home. So thank you for that. And the Department of Applied Sciences, it wouldn't have been possible without your invitation. Thank you. And to my friend, my ride or die, who never wants to take credit, who's always willing, you know, to let others shine, even though she's the one who has done, you know, the work. Thank you for being so selfless. Thank you, Peggy. I appreciate you. To the chefs and everyone involved, my Rotary family, thank you, you know, for a beautiful partnership. May we continue on this pursuit of putting service before us, giving off of our time. May we continue to do that. I would also like to acknowledge and appreciate those that are not here watching in person, on the remote space, watching the streaming. I would also like to thank them. Thank you for joining us. At this stage, I would like to open the floor for questions. Shoot.
Questions and comments, please. Thanks for the nice presentation, a powerful one indeed.
Oh, thank you.
So looking at your book, so in terms of the cultures, your menu there, how many do you accommodate?
So thank you first for your question. Valid indeed. It's 12. Everything inclusive of the San as well, San way of life. Your South Sotho, your North Sotho, or Basotho, South Sotho, Basotho, as we call them. Your Ndebele, your Tonga, Xhosa, Zulu. We acknowledge our Indian community as well, because we have the second largest Indian community in South Africa. So it's worth, pointing that out. Burekos, that's Afrikaans, Cape Malay, or, we've got the British English. You will learn so much from the book. We have a section there dedicated to, the differences between what you know as British high tea, but the South African way of doing it. All those influences. So don't be worried. Ndebele, South African Ndebele, everybody, their cultures have been covered. So there's absolutely nothing to worry about.
Okay, a simple question. Do you eat mopane worms?
I've tried them. I'm from the farm, remember? I've eaten snake. You think snake, it tastes like king clip, the one I tasted. Okay, go ahead there.
I'm good there, ma'am. I wanted to ask you, out of all the recipes that you wrote, which one is your favorite?
Easy peasy. Umngqusho onembotyi. And for those that don't know, it also happens to be the late Dad Mandela's favorite food. Yeah, so we can market umngqusho using that. Remember that. I always use it.
Thank you very much for your wonderful talk. I just find it very inspirational, since we just came out of Women's Month, to see the success that you've achieved. And I think for our students, it's very important to see where we can go and what we can be. So just a comment to thank you very much for that inspirational talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, ma.
Hi.
I'd like to say Dumela me in
Dumela.
my own language. My question is, what kept you going? Since I do have the heart of cooking, what kept you going? Even if things came and disturbed everything that was happening, yeah, what kept you going?
My father. My father, remember, he studied law. He was not allowed, because he was from the Eastern Cape. The regime just did not allow that at the time. So he couldn't practice. So I grew up listening to these stories. He ended up working for a bookshop called Fogarty's. I also ended up writing books, right? See the similarities there. So my father, who was always told that you cannot do something, and he always reinvented himself. So when he couldn't practice as an attorney, he reinvented himself to be a herbalist, and so on and so on. There are other things. He was also a hypnotherapist, and so on. So learning from my father that when they say no, prove them wrong. If you follow my social media, you will also see I like motivational quotes as well. Most of that stuff is intended It's directed at me more than, it's like self-conversations that I have to keep going. So in the industry, I was not always welcome with open hands because I would be mocked being a trained chef because I'm self-taught. But you have to be able to block the noise and just keep going and follow what feels right in there. So who I am, that farm girl, never left me. We were always different. So I wasn't always going to fit into other people's narratives. Never, ever.
Thank you so much, Chef Pumla. Thank you for sharing what I think is a very rich and very impactful journey with us. Thank you for inspiring our students. By simply being here, I believe you've already inspired them. By sharing what you did today, you have inspired them even more. And I really believe you have illustrated to us the true meaning of heritage. Your inheritance is what has made you what you have become. And we are so thankful for that. Thank you. Can we give her a final round of applause?
Thank you.
And we believe this can only be the beginning of that inspiration. And our students, I believe from there, what I read on their faces will travel this journey of inspiration, leaning on you. And I believe and hope you will be open to them leaning on you for that.
So before I dash off the stage, I just want to warn you that don't think you have seen the last of me. You cannot get rid of me that easily.
Okay, lovely. We await. That was a promise that there is more where that came from. Okay, now as we set the stage for the next activity, I would like you, ladies and gentlemen, to join me in welcoming onto the stage the very elegant Miss Leander Soko Yeka, and she is going to be gracing the stage with a design from, and I'm not going to say, I will judge where the design is from. And please join me in giving her a huge, huge round of applause as she graces the stage with a beautiful design imported from one of the greatest designers on the African continent. Please welcome her onto the stage if we are ready for her. Are we? We seem to have some technical difficulties here. Please give us a minute as they are rectified. We need to play some music here, please. Volume, please. We need some volume, please. There's the problem with the song. welcome our very first model onto the stage as Miss Leander graces the stage. Volume, please.
It's the song itself. The song itself is doing that.
It's the song that's playing softly.
The song.
No, sir. Let me just try to download the song. It won't work.
How long will it take to download?
Quickly, but I'm not sure which website to use downloading the song.
Can't we go for one? Can't we use another song?
No,
Okay.
they wanted this. Wait, I'm trying to see if I cannot download it or play it from here.
Try, let's see.
It's playing soft.
Now. Thank you so much, Leander. CPUT got talent, right? Applied Sciences got talent, right? Leander, for your information, is from Mathematical Sciences. Can we put it up for Mathematical Sciences? Well done. Thank you. And the joy of this event is always having students participate in various aspects on it. And we're going to invite our first academic department now to take the podium and exhibit, demonstrate, present what they have prepared for us. And I want to specifically mention the names of all the students involved in the project. And they could step forward when invited. Motingwe, can we put it up for all them? Masuku, Nuswa, Simelane, Muvali, Ramenti, Koki, Pilot, Mananathela, Mariti, Yobo, this I present to you the chemistry team, very capably led by our own very, very always committed and dedicated to this project, Dr. Makashu Kanisa. Thank you so much, Doc. So we're going to open ourselves up to be entertained and educated by chemistry. Thank you.
Makashu spell out for H up. PPT.
Technology and consumer science to be prepared to go next, and if they have any presentation to please share that with us in advance.
Okay.
Have it on slide. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
10 or 7 slides. 10. Yeah. Okay.
Molweni, sanbonani, good morning, goeiemorgen. Okay, I think izezo endizaziyo. Sibulela uba khona kwenu apha. Owam umsebenzi omncinci gqithi akho nix mna ndizawuyenza abafundi bazokwenza phantsi komxholo okanye isihloko from healing plants to sustainable living. So this is from the chemistry department, all levels. Bayanoyika bethunani.
Sanbonan. Boloka ba dikgomo. Bontši ba bo tseba ka ditšhila eupša science le setso di tseba ka resource. Ke motswako wa metsi, dikhwele, dimatlafatši le di-microbes tse nnyane. Today, let's explore how this material connects our heritage, chemistry and sustainability.
Nitrogen, phosphorus, and
Ka nnete, for generations, boloko ba dikgomo e le karolo ya maphelo a rena ka mehla. For farming, for fuel, le go aga dintlo. It is a beautiful example of how heritage meets practicality.
So the millions of microorganisms in cow dung, they break it down into biogas. And the biogas releases the gas called methane. Methane can be used in generating electricity, power cooking, and heating.
Wait, so upulongwe buka makhulu bami is actually renewable energy?
Yes, it's more than that. It can also be used in skincare products. It can also be used in eco bricks, farming, and many more, just like medicine and nastoro. Guys, when there is visual store.
Cow dung is renewable, it's affordable, and sustainable. It also reduces erosion, improves soil, produces clean energy, and reduces chemical pollution.
But is it all perfect? There must be some problems, right?
That's a good question. Yes, there are challenges. There are challenges regarding that. Include the challenges that we face is the collection of cow dung, it's hard, and also the storage. Oh, and it smells bad. So smells bad. So, and another thing that we face is that in the cities, it's hard to store, it's hard to find, it's hard to use. So that's why innovation and research is important.
Nahana say, more biogas plants powering the villages, organic farming feeding the world, and new research turning cow dung into eco-friendly products. E ka re thusa le ka go lwa le climate change. In conclusion, bolokwa ba dikgomo bo re ruta gore le ditšhila di ka fetoga bohumi. Bo kopanya sustainability, bohwa ba rena le chemistry.
Thank you so much. Can I have the one that is
Is this one working? Yangiza ma'am. Ngiyazwakala.
Dumelang Lochani Molweni. Our story comes from the rugged landscapes of South Africa. For centuries, the Khoisan and later Bantu-speaking peoples revered this plant not just as a medicine, but as a vital trade source. They called it the bitter aloe, ukakayu. Healers would harvest the bitter sap from the leaves to create powerful remedies for constipation and digestive cleansing. They also used the gel inside the leaves to treat skin infections, wounds, and even arthritis. It was so valued that it featured on the labels of early South African fruits and wine cases as a symbol of natural goodness from the Cape. Although many plants and flowers bloom in summer, this one blooms in winter, making it a 1 in a million. Ladies and gentlemen, let us learn to embrace, celebrate, and find happiness in who we are.
And now, traditional use is confirmed by intense modern chemistry. These are powerful stimulant laxative that can trigger bowel movements. Me hasili rufela, The gel, similar to aloe vera, contains polysaccharides that supports wounds healing.
Its profile makes it very unique. Aloe product is more powerful than aloe vera.
This unique potency is precisely the key ingredient in many strong natural laxative you find today.
The sustainability of aloe revolves around aloe evolves around arid places. This hard plant grows in arid places where no other crops can survive. It is primarily wild harvested, making it to sustain itself naturally. Leswi swi endla ku vanhu va kota ku endla mali emapurasini ya laha Afrika-Dzonga hi ku tirhisa vutivi lebyi va nga na byona ku endla mali.
Aloe vera is not just a background remedy. It's a remedy carrying centuries of trust and healing. For iminyaka, South African traditional healers, or amagqirha namaxhwele, have relied on this medicine to treat izifo ezithile ezifana nerhwashalal nerhwaibane. Today's modern science confirms what traditional healers always knew about umsebenzi wa-aloe vera, which is its intense anthocyanin chemistry, is what gives aloe vera its laxative and detoxifying properties. Aloe vera is not just about chemistry. Imele ibhlorho ephilayo phakathi kwenkcubeko nenzululwazi. It reminded that indigenous knowledge and modern science are not opposites but partners. That may affect the ecosystem and community so badly, but when it's approached through sustainable and ethical sourcing, aloe vera becomes a beacon of what responsible commercialization of traditional plants should look like. Ibali layo, ikwalibali lenkcubeko phakathi koqoqosho. Uninzi lwabavuni zinkokheli ezisemaphandleni, uninzi lwabo olungabafazi. Lonto ithetha ukuthi uninzi lwabafazi luxhomekeke ekuvuneni kwesi sityalo. By creating fair value chains, we are not only preserving biodiversity, we are also uplifting communities closest to the land. Ngamazwi alula, i-aloe vera inomsebenzi ongakumbi kunokunyanga izifo ezisesikhumbeni. Inokunyanga uqoqosho, ukunyanga inkcubeko kunye nokubuyiselwa kwamasiko, intlonipho yamasiko. Esi sityalo simelwe umzekelo ocacileyo ukuba urhwebo xa lumiselwe ngobulungisa lunokusebenzisana nokudibeneyo nenkcubeko. Enkosi. From my heritage
to modern science, sustainable future.
Bathethi labantwana. Bathethile bazondlala bayitya yonke. Owam umsebenzi ke kukuyiqukumbela ngokuthi enkosi kakhulu ngokuba nisimamele nexesha lenu. Siyabulela.
Wow, wow, wow. It was not just fun. It was very, very insightful, right? I think we learned a lot about science in a very fun way, right? They were very creative, and you did not just explain science. You actually performed science. And you demonstrated to us today that science is not just about numbers and formulas, right? It's about a lot more than that. Thank you so much. Can we give them another round of applause? As we do that, we'd like to see what biotechnology and consumer science has prepared for us today. Thank you so much. Oh, do we have any comments, please? A quick comment or question for the team. Do we? Yes, there is. As biotechnology sets up, please, any quick questions or comments for the team?
Good morning, thank you. I just wanted to say thank you to the team. This really took me back home to the Eastern Cape. It was beautifully done, beautifully articulated. You know, this really just took me back home. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
This one.
Thanks the chemistry team for the nice presentation. So just going back to the aloe vera, so we saw during COVID-19, they were blocking the alcohol consumption there. They said we can't buy alcohol. So is it possible to maybe create my own alcohol using aloe vera?
Do you want to answer that or? Okay, they say they wouldn't want to. Mr. Manamela, they say you'll find an answer to your question yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much to students for the insightful presentation. I just want to know from the research, Dr. Makasho, how safe it is to consume the aloe vera straight from the garden.
Can I borrow it for you? Where is she?
Oh, yes. Yeah, because I had stories like it damages your kidneys in the long run. Thank you very much, Dr. Makasho.
Thank you. And what really stood out for me in that presentation was also the multilingual aspect of it, for obvious reasons. That was really beautifully done, the movement between languages.
Okay, thanks. To answer Ma'am Lapa, aloe vera, it's very good, but you shouldn't overdose it. If you overdose, it damages you inside. So you have to take it normal. You can cut it and put it inside water, then you drink it, consume it every time. It cleans your system, even your blood. For those, sorry? No, don't overdose. You just, maybe a small leaf. Where is the aloe? Can I please have aloe? Any? Okay, when you see how it is cut, you don't just take the whole tree, no. You just cut a small one. So if you want to clean yourself, just maybe small like this. You cut it like this, then you take 2 liters of water, you put inside, then you let it, then you can consume maybe a glass throughout the whole day. Then it will clean your blood. And for those who have problems when they are on their cycle, this is good for you. It cleans your blood. So, but don't overuse. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all the knowledge shared with us. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Ms. Chikovi, who is already on the podium, as well as, oh, there was a last question. Okay, there's a very burning one here, so please just allow me go back.
Okay, firstly, thank you for the fantastic presentation. What I want to ask, from the aloe vera presentation, what are the main active compounds in aloe vera? Like the compounds that you know that are the ones that cause it, yeah.
Thank you so much for the question. The compounds are aloe and aloe-emodin.
When you put scientists together, no matter how hard you try to run away from these hard questions, you still get them. So we have to live with them even when we want it to be very fun. Thank you so much for the question. And now it gives me pleasure to introduce Ms. Chikovi as Ms. Mobo, who is sitting. She'll speak later, but of course she played a role in this. And I believe Ms. Kuntu a little bit, and more especially our students that I would like to introduce themselves, please. And we give it up for them, please. You want to introduce yourself?
Molweni. Molweni, my name is Onati Pomela, and I am a first-year consumer science student from the Department of Biotechnology and Consumer Science.
Molweni, I'm Tebile Mlangeni. I'm also a first-year student from Consumer Science. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dimacheloni, Dumelang, Tovela. Okay, thank you for this opportunity. I'm with two of our first-year students, with Mrs. Pauline Kuhn, Miss Mobo. She'll be coming back into the room. So we're just going to focus a little bit on nutrition and what our population looks like and why our heritage diets, the food that is displayed on the table, the food that we eat in what we call rural areas, are important for our health. So have you all heard of what we call the blue zone? Have you watched a movie on Netflix, The Blue Zone? I think it was released in 2023, still on Netflix. So a blue zone is a region where people live exceptionally longer lives, like 100 and above. They have certain practices that they do that gives them longevity. So I'm just going to give a South African example. The news came out obviously the data has been there, but the news came out in August, where, can you guess which province is our blue zone in South Africa? Eastern Cape. Okay, so Limpopo. So Limpopo is a specific district called Vembe district as you go towards the border of Zimbabwe. So that's called our blue zone because that's where researchers have found a lot of elderly that are above 100. So in that area, about more than 2,000 above 100 years old. So they've realized that they have certain practices that they do that makes them live longer, better lives. So they looked at their diets. Obviously, they interviewed them. They looked at their diets. They realized their diets are plant-based. Their diets come from the environment where they are. So the food is locally sourced. It's homegrown. It's seasonal. Therefore, it's affordable. It's culturally relevant. And the preparation methods also count. They boil more and steam more than frying. And if you look at the practices that they do, they are in line with the international guidelines on healthy eating. You know, every country has guidelines on how we should eat, right? So if you look at countries that are blue zone countries, like along the Mediterranean Sea, they show that they eat more plant-based, they eat in a community, their food is locally sourced, so they have similar practices to those. So this is a good example of how a heritage diet can be used to help with longevity and keep people healthier for longer. Okay, so let's just quickly look at how so this is what we do in nutrition, right? In consumer science and nutrition, we look at the nutritional status of people and see what could be fit for them in terms of eating. So if we look at South Africans, just men and women, we see that more than 6 in 10 women are overweight or obese. Can you see it's a big number? People who carry excess weight. With men, it's lower because of the body makeup. More than 3 in 10 men are overweight and obese. So when we think of food, when we choose the type of food that we eat, we need to choose the type of food that's going to reduce excess fat, meaning that reduce the 6 in 10 number, reduce the 3 in 10 number, to bring us back to normal weight. Why? Because we want to reduce the risk of diseases of lifestyle like diabetes, arthritis, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. So these numbers are quite big. So when we think of food, we should think when we make food to bring people back to healthier so that they can live longer. And why do we look like this as South Africans? Why are we bigger in size? Why do we carry excess weight? It's because we've moved from healthy eating. We've moved from healthy eating to eating a high amount of ultra-processed foods, like you see on the screen. So this thing has been studied in multiple countries. It's happening in South Africa. It's called the nutrition transition. So we're eating high fat, high sugar, high salt, and we don't walk as much, we don't exercise that much. So if you look at the eating pattern now, it's very different from what we used to eat back then. So basically, we need to go back to what we have been eating previously, moving away from highly processed foods, moving away from high sugar, high fat foods. We're moving away from low fiber foods. We're moving away from industrially processed foods that are unhealthy, moving back to whole foods. The students will present the whole grain, example of a whole grain breakfast. We're moving away from we're moving towards more plant-based foods. So in that way, we can live longer, happier lives, reducing the risk of non-communicable diseases. So important takeouts from the whole presentation from the department is that let's consider making traditional foods appreciated, healthier, and profitable through science, technology, innovation, and marketing. Let's transform indigenous crops and foods from being poor people's food, from being underutilized into being recognized, celebrated, and commercially valuable. So I'll hand over to our students who will hand over to the presentation on the tables. Thank you.
Going over the breakfast example that is most common in the Xhosa household, which is isidudu. And I will share 5 nutritional facts about isidudu. Isidudu is made from maize meal, which is a complex carbohydrate that provides slow-releasing energy, which keeps you fuller for longer periods of time compared to compared to refined sugary cereals. It's better than Secondly, it is low in fat and additives. As we all know that isidudu is made from maize meal, which is a traditional soft porridge, and it does not have any preservatives that are found in many boxed cereals like cornflakes. It is rich in fiber and micronutrients. The soft porridge keeps fiber, which helps digestion and prevents constipation. Maize meal also has B vitamins and minerals like iron that support the overall health. It supports steady blood sugar. Soft porridge provides the slow digestion of carbohydrates, and which helps to prevent the spike and crashes in blood sugar levels compared to sugary breakfast options. And lastly, it is flexible and nutritious with toppings. It can be eaten plain or enriched with milk, peanut butter, honey, and sugar. We also have amabele, yeah, and also whole grains, and isidudu shows us that our traditions were not only cultural, but also wise and healthy. Our ancestors understood the value of natural, simple meals that fed the body and spirit. So the next time you see a bowl of isidudu, remember it is more than porridge. It is a healthy tradition, a cultural story, and a reminder that sometimes the simplest foods are the most powerful.
So I'm going to talk about South African traditional healthy food often eaten as lunch. As we know, South Africa has many unique cultures, and each one of them has unique meals that are both delicious and nutritious. These foods are locally found in ingredients like maize, beans, vegetables, and meat, which gives us energy and keeps us healthy. So in this presentation, I will share the examples of these foods and how they are good for our body. So the first dish I'm going to talk about is steamed bread, known as itombolo, with beef stew and vegetables. It is known as a grain and maize-based meal. So from the get-go, we can hear the word steamed, which gives us an idea of what cooking method has taken place. And the main nutrients are found in this meal are carbohydrates, protein, iron, and zinc. For carbohydrates, we have steamed bread, protein, we have beef stew, and iron and zinc we get from vegetables. Why is this meal healthy? It is healthy because the steamed bread is often lower in fat compared to fried or baked bread, making it a healthier option. Then it is easy to digest because it can be gentle on the digestive system, making it suitable for those with sensitive stomach. So we must note that the portion control is important. Even in healthier bread, it can contribute to weight gain if consumed in excess. The second dish I'm going to talk about is pap with chakalaka. The cultural origin is widely eaten in urban townships. And it is a traditional South African dish that combines pap, which is porridge made from maize meal, with chakalaka, which is a combination of spicy vegetable relish. So the benefits of eating pap is that pap is a good source of carbohydrates, which gives us energy for our bodies. And the benefit of eating chakalaka is that it is rich in vitamins and minerals, which are typically made of vegetables like tomatoes, onions, bell peppers, which are rich in vitamin A, C, and antioxidants. So the combined benefits of this meal is that when paired together, pap and chakalaka can provide a balanced mix of carbohydrates, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. And this dish can contribute to overall health by providing essential nutrients and supporting energy levels, digestion, and immune function. The third dish I'm going to talk about is dal curry with rice or roti. The dal is known as lentils. Its cultural origin is from Indian, is popularly amongst Indian South Africans. So it is high in, the lentils are a good source of plant-based proteins, making them ideal for people who are vegans or vegetarians. And we can consider this meal a balanced meal because it is a mixed balance of protein, carbohydrates, fiber, supporting the overall health and energy levels. It also, the fiber content in the lentils and the whole wheat grain, iroti, can aid in digestion and prevent constipation. Then the combination of this meal promotes satiety, which means it can keep you full for longer, reducing the likelihood of overeating. So there is food tasting available. The Miss Kuhn made cheesecake made from traditional ingredient, which is amas. From the department to you, it says, don't eat anything your grandmother wouldn't recognize as food. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the consumer science students and their lecturers for what I thought was a very refreshing and an eye-opening presentation where they reminded us that healthy living doesn't necessarily need to be complicated and it doesn't need to be expensive, right? But we also are alerted to the fact that the wisdom of the ancestors and of traditional and indigenous food forms a significant part of our heritage. So, ladies and gentlemen, do we have any questions or comments? Thank you. There is. Can we have a runner with a mic? Mesuli, please. Thank you. And as we take questions and comments, can horticultural sciences get ready to take the podium?
I just want to thank everyone who was on that stage. It's not a question, it's rather a light bulb moment that, whoa, who would have known that, we have our own blue zone in South Africa. And I had no doubt it was going to be the Popo for some reason. I would really love to visit. Anyone from the Popo here? Like, I would love to visit the area. I would definitely love to visit and gain more information. So I feel like, I've learned something.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, as I said earlier, you opened our eyes to things that we did not know. Any other question or comment? In the absence of which, I really just want us to give a big round of applause to this department for celebrating our cultural heritage and reminding us that health and heritage and food go hand in hand. Thank you. Was there a comment? Was there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please.
The sisters have triggered something in me which made me look at heritage, linking it to food. I am stressed somehow because it's going to take me to the conception of our heritage right now, which will include colonialism and stuff. She said traditional, referring to the maize meal. I understand that's the tradition we have in the modern era, but looking back at it, those are the few kinds of crops which were brought to Africa through colonialism. They served a purpose which is not really for our benefit, but for the sake of preserving heritage, we will accept those as what they say is traditional, because right now that is how we are defined. But truly say, it's still a long way. We still lack our African food in the market. Say our African food, our true African food is considered superfood by Western nations, and it is too expensive for us. So that is one of the little things I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you. It's a really valuable comment. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not too sure whether anyone wants to comment on it, but it's a very valuable comment that we can take. But we must also note that the dichotomy between what is colonial and what is African is quite fine. But also we have Africanized a lot of the things that were brought to us as part of colonialism, which is a part of what makes us African in itself. For example, we have even Africanized the languages that we speak, right? When we speak English, we do not speak it as the queen or the king. We have a king now in England. As the king in England will speak it, because we've Africanized it just as we've Africanized a lot of the foods that we have. But please, Chef Pumla.
Yes, on that topic, the crop itself, maize, might have been adopted from other countries. However, is that saying, do not eat anything that your grandmother would not, recognize. The way that our grandmothers prepared maize, fermented into macheu, for example, your fermented porridge, for example. That is made with baby bean, was eaten with fermented, So the technique of fermenting is very good for your gut, right? So we should learn from our grandmothers. Don't forget your heritage and do not eat anything the grandmother will eat.
Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I invite us to welcome the Horticultural Sciences team onto the podium. And we have with us Ms. Nonkosi Kobeka, as well as Dr. Mavuso. Welcome. And can I please just appeal that you introduce yourselves in a bit more detail to us?
Kamaku, Molweni, Dumelang, morning. My name is Dr. Mavuso. I'm from Fuleni. I'm practicing as THP. THP is a traditional health practitioner. It's not the first time ndilapha. Ndiyasebenzisana kakhulu ne-research zalapha. Babukhambisa. Also, ndandike ndenza apha ikhona inesare lapha. Apho sasithetha khona nge-medicine. Okokuqala, I want to say thank you. Zonke i-presenter bezilapha. And I see there is ugqirha apha. Bendimamele. I've listened a lot. There is a new doctor that tomorrow gonna come. Yeah. Disable with stakeholders as needs. St. Parks. Also now with Department of Health as a sector THPs. And Konagana is a crime. Lot of structures, yeah. So namhlanje ke silapha for uzo cacisa. Ngoba lokho apha sisikolo isi kuyenzeka i-student apha sigule kanti i-student sifikelwe ngabantu abadala bakokwapho. And then utitsha lakazinto yena kuthiwe makahamba esibhedlela. Afike esibhedlela umntana angabe right. Omnye ngoku end up eluza ingqondo yakhe. Hamba ukuhlalisa emagazini kanti umntana ayinjalongo. Inida nje i-understanding. Yeah. So sizawucacisa ngento enjalo namhlanje. Thank you so much.
Queen. I'm going to alternate between English and Xhosa. And unfortunately, this is not how we start our meetings. I would like a second to show you how we start our meetings in connection with what we are going to talk about. Wetongola, wetongola me, wetongola me ma, wetongola, mandisenzanga, yenziwe ngabalele, kubuhlungu kugula, wetongola, masicama kushela. Igama lam nguNonkosi, umama wakwaChubeka. Ndingumambamba, ndingikrila, ndingithangana, ndingurhaso, ndingumbombo, ndingumayithe, ndingumbohlithe ngatyala. Ndingunkomo ezibomvu namatholazo, inkomo ezimnyama zasemlanjeni, inkomo ezimdaka zaselwandle. Ndingumtshawe, ndingukhawuta, ndingumdange, ndingutshiwo, ndingumlawu, ndingumbandla. Ndingumntanda udlomo, usophitsha, uyemyem, ungqolo, umsila, uvela abambhentsela, uzonto azintshaba zingazibenzanga. Masicama kushela. NdinguNozulu, ndingupafane, ndinguthukela, ndinguqhudele, ndingumchumane, ndingukheswa. Ndingumcetha, ubhurhuma, uchizama, uncenceza, umbambo, zinomongo, udla inyama ikrwada. Ndingumbanje, ugebane, uthikazi, unongoma, umpethwana, makudade ubumnyama kuvela ukhaya. Ndingumkwayi, ndingutogu, ndingungconde, ndingumalangana. Ndiyanqula, ndiyathandaza. Cenga amabandla xa nditshoyo ndithi ndingumntlane, ndingundinga, ndingunqabane. Ndingumqadi, ndingungcwina, ndinguNceloteketeke, umphankomo, uqengeba. Ndibiza igqirha endandenzayo, ubhayi, ukhetsha, umsuthu, umfuke, ngucamsholo, inyoka emnyama ecatisini. Urhadebe, umthimkhulu, undlebe entle zombini. Ubhungane, unasele, ungelengele. Umfene, ujambasa, ulisa, usanzanza, uhlanga umveweni, makuthetha ubumnyama kuvela ukhanye. Umqwathi, udikela, unone, untswayibana. Utshibase, undaba, umwelase. Endingababiza ngabangaqumbi baqalekise, ndiyababiza ngelizwi lomoya. Ndiyacima gusha. Unfortunately, this is the way we introduce ourselves. Because I am not here alone. I'm here with my ancestors. I have to announce my arrival in a place so that they know that we are here. I am already punished for being here. I wear glasses, but as I enter here, they just fell and broke. So today, I'm honored to be here. To me, it's a new day and it's a first time. Unlike Dr. Mavuso, it's the first time that I'm here. I am also a practicing traditional healer. Ndiyatwasisa, ndiyanyanga. Kodwa andinyangi yonke into. Andizazi endingazaziyo, ndinyanga endiziphiweyo, kodwa ndiyatwasisa. Ndicelwe ke uba ndizothetha ngeempawu nee-challenges zentwaso esikolweni ezihlangabezana nabantwana nootishara. And then you'll forgive me, I will say isikolo, even though it's university. People normally think it's isikolo, it's the primary schools. I will say from time to time, with no offense, that esikolweni, because even ebugqirheni kusesikolweni. Not wasting much time, I would like to talk about symptoms zokugula. Symptoms that children or students who are facing ancestral calling are facing. You will find out from time to time that students are deemed to have mental problems or mental issues because there's a very thin line between ukutwasa nokugula ngengqondo. Umntu othwasayo, okay, let me start here. Uvalo nombilini, it's two different things. Umntu othwasayo ukhathazwa ngombilini. Uvalo ilanto ikwehlelayo xa usiya kwi-interview uve kusithi bhubhum esifubeni because uyoyika i-interview le uya kuyo. Uvalo ilanto ikwehlelayo xa uya kwi-meet up ngokwenu ke for the first time. Umbilini, although coming from a similar place or the same place, it hits different. Lela xhala likwenza ude ube nalanto nithi panic attack. Kufuneka ibe ngathi ungasela amanzi okanye ungakhala. Andithi wonke umuntu oba ne-panic attack uyathwasa. But umuntu othwasayo ukhathazwa luvalo, ukhathazwa ngumbilini, ukhathazwa inhloko engapheliyo. Whether you take ipilisi or whatever or usebenzisayo xa unenhloko ubone ba ayipheli. Ukhathazwa zinyawo. Kuba singabantu abahamba ngeenyawo thina. Inyawo zakhe bengathi zinenkansi, sometimes zibe buhlungu, sometimes athi bulele, kufuneka zikhuphe ngaphandle ezingubeni because ziyatshisa ebusuku. Ukhathazwa zi-joints, bathi abantu ne-arthritis. So symptoms of people who have ancestral calling, it's headaches, similar to migraines. Headaches that cannot be cured by your grandpas and your aspirins and whatever you have. They're consistent. They suffer from lots of anxiety or panic attacks. Sometimes they want to cry for no reason. You'll find out in a classroom there's nothing going on. Everything is going smooth. And he or she will scream like nobody's business. Some will run because they had something ezindlebeni, or they saw something that none of the others saw. That's where the confusion comes, because abantu bacinga uba uyaphambana because uyabaleka. Sometimes you get so angry for no reason at all. A fly can just pass, uphambana ubeligeza. And people will say you are rude. Some of the things, what I'm counting here is not limited to. Some of the things differ from person to person. For example, when I came here, when I was called to come and speak here, I wrote everything I wanted to say. And I cannot read or write without wearing my glasses. That is my fault because I'm lazy to make myself medicine to heal my eyes. I was told to speak from the heart. Hence my glasses broke. When you don't listen, that's what happens. Ukugula kubuhlungu but kumnandi xa ukwamkela. So I'm going to talk to students. First and foremost, I was asked here to come and talk about these symptoms and give advice. So I will first advise the students, accept your calling so that you do not give your lecturers or any other person close to you problems. I am not saying move from here and go home and become igqirha. No. Just say ndiyavuma. Camago bantu abadala ndivile, ndiyamkela, ndiyavuma. Ancestors came before us, but they are always with us in spirit. Mine are here. I'm in this stage with a crowd. Amachawa lapha ngqongile, amabamba lapha ngqongile. Each and every one of us. And one thing I like about them, whether you love them or not, they will be with you. Whether you acknowledge them or not, whether you demonize them or not, ancestors are there. But ancestors are not God. Let me make this clear. We acknowledge and honor our ancestors. We don't worship them. Our ancestors have passed down their knowledge and wisdom to us through dreams and visions. And they also worshipped God. I don't care what you call your God, but God is God for all of us. If we are saying He's a creator and everything that is here is created by God, I am created by Him as Iqigha. So acknowledge your ancestors so that you don't have these episodes eklasini. When you acknowledge them and say, you clock before you go anywhere. Before you go to school, before you go to the university, you go to work, you go anywhere. If you stand in your room, if you stand in your lounge, if you stand in your backyard, but before you leave that house, you say, mabamba namachawe ndiye esikolweni ngoku. Cela nihambe nami kodwa ndingaphazamisa abantu. Nami ndingaphazamiseki. Ninibonise ekufuneka ndikubonile okungaziniphazamisa. That's all you need to do. Don't fight it. That becomes a problem. So, when it comes to the teachers, or lecturers, or professors, doctors, and so forth, some of them do not believe in ancestors. And everybody has a right to believe in whatever they want. But it doesn't mean diminish my belief. It doesn't mean that mine is better than yours or yours is better than mine. And unfortunately, people like to say stay in your lane. Sometimes we have to be in cross lanes. If you want to be educated, how can you stay in your lane? Funeka uzile esikolweni. So, when it comes to teachers or lecturers, I know that you have your one-on-one, maybe, with all of your students. The only thing I can say, because there's nothing much you can do in your classroom, but know your students, so that if one uyatwasa, don't call the ambulance. Maybe give them 5-10 minutes in a corner or outside, asela amanzi ahlale. Because it might happen that someone in the classroom is sick and absorb la pain. But because she hasn't acknowledged the calling yet, she doesn't know how to understand that or how to interpret. Therefore, she will get angry, she will cry, she will run, she will do whatever is going to disturb the class because she's trying to fight or he's trying to fight whatever she is feeling or he is feeling. One of the things that happens when utwasa, excuse my language, and I beg to differ, it's not a language of amagqirha because I hear kutwa amagqirha are very rude, not all of us. But enye isayini yokutwasa, bayahula abanye abantu abathwasayo. Bangahlali abantu besilisa, you jump from men to men or from women to women. Don't do that and say I said it. Don't jump from one to another. But on a serious note though, on a serious note, these things are happening whether we like them or not. That's why I say acknowledge your calling. Because when you do, whatever was the problem will stop. My calling, everyone's calling starts when you are born. But the signs and symptoms will start when you are a toddler, depending on which family you grow up from. If they are running away from being isangoma, then they won't acknowledge it. You will have your visions and your dreams. When I had my dreams, every time I will say, Makulundi pupe, I tethwa loo nto apha. So they will not listen. When I did my matric, I still remember today in 1989, I was writing my first paper of Xhosa. I had a stroke. Because my family said they wanted me to be educated first, which is a good thing. But then they didn't appease the ancestors. They just said it. They didn't do anything. Khange bangxengxeze, bathe bheka esikolweni ungabusixelela ngamaphupha. So ukugula, it's a personal journey and as well as a partnership. Ukuhlangabezana neengxaki zokugula. It should be a student, the family. Student first, then your family. Then notify the school so that ootishara bakho bazawuyazi ukuthi what's going on with this one. If this one is crying today, remember, don't use your calling to be put on a pedestal. Abantu abadala bakuthatha bakulahle phansi. If you don't want to do your assignment, don't use your calling and say, I was in a trance, I couldn't do. Abantu abadala bazakuphikisa. So, I'm here to say, acknowledge them and say, please allow me to be educated first. Because in this day and age, education is the key. Akufani nangela xesha babephila bona. Kuba kuyenzeka ukuthi xa uthwasa uhamba neetshomi zakho. Sonzakale zonke usinde wena. Because when unenkani bayakubonisa nje ke ngoku ifilm. So I'm going to give over to Dr. Mavus. Uba kukho umuntu onombuzo ndawumamela ngelo xesha.
Okay, thank you so much. Ugogo sekecacisile. I think okokuqala kufuneka ulinde mayiqala ingulo iyeza ngephupha. Ya uphuphe nento ezithile zakokwenu. Sometimes uba ngumuntu rude ungamamela utitshala ufuna ubetha ulwe kuthiwa unamafufunyana. Hayibo. Kanti abantu abadala bakuphusha. Sakwenza umzekelo ngokwam mna. Mna uqala kwami ukufikelwa ingulo. Yandifikela lisemsebenzini nomama msebenze egadini. So ndathonga ke ndisemanzini ndinikwe into endizinikwayo. Umama wami ke ebeligqirha strong kakhulu but ebengabufuni ukugqirha. Yeah, ethanda icawa. Ndathi xa ndimxelela loo nto leyo wathi nantsi iBhayibhile. Kodwa wathi kodwa le nto umane undixelela yona le izawuenda apha ikulimaza. Kodwa ke sayibona. Really ke kuthe kuhambeni kwexesha nyani yabe indenza ngondihlala esitulweni. Kodwa ke ndithe ndakuyamkela. Ndazibona uba andim lo bendizivalela. Yeah, so ezinye azithethayo mama ke xa umgulo unje nakanje nakanje kuxhomekeka kuwe. Ungavi lento beyithetha. Fumana ba ngoku wola yonke into abaphandle lento beyithetha. Khawuzama uziphatha. Uzama udibana nalomuntu ukulento iyo into omhlophe. Ba hayi man ndikhona izinto ezinje ezahlukileyo ingaba yintoni na. Kuyenzeka ke ngexesha mhlawumbi ungumguli ke uzityela treatment yakho. Wena ucimba uyathwasa kanti akunjalo. Yeah, iyakwazi kwenzeka naloo nto kanti medication yakho ityayo. So lento ke kufuneka ke ube sure uba xa uziva kukhona i-signs ezithile khakudibana nomuntu omhlophe. Yeah, ukuthi nje akufunela indlela uza kuxelela. Ngoba into ensimbi into enwenwayo. If kokwenu kwakukhokho wakho kwakukhona igqirha. Into engapheliyo leyo. Izawuvuka. Yakuqala nonke noba ngamagqirha. So kuzawuxhomekeka ke ngokuba wena uyi-accepta njani. Kodwa ke ndiyakuthembisa uyamkela kwakho. Impumelelo yakho leyo. Yeah, nam ndilapha because of yona. Yeah. Ndizawuthi enkosi kakhulu. Siyabulela kakhulu kuba lapha ngomso. Siyanqwenela siphinde sibe lapha because kaloku silapha ngani. Funeke sizonixelela sizonifundisa. Ningafiki apha nixa kotitshala. Abanye otitshala bazinto ngento zothwasa. Funeke uze apha uyazi ba xa kunje yintoni ufuna bani. Thank you so much.
Sizayibuyisela ke ngoku. Siyabulela ngoba lapha bethunana. Ndiphinde nje ukuthi nje ngokuba besitshilo. Ungabalezi izinto uzibona apha kuwe zonke. And on this note, when you are sick, you have a disease or illness, and you start your treatment, some people, they will experience hallucinations. That's not Indwaso. Indwaso, remember I said you get it from birth. So as you grow up, signs and symptoms will be seen. And then when we are 30 or 40, then you start being sick and you get your treatment and you get your hallucinations and you go, that's not it. It will never wait until you are 40. If it comes back when we are 40, it's because so I hope you learned something today and learn to acknowledge. Learn to acknowledge. As Dr. Mavutso said, it differs from each person. It's not a straight line. Mine, unlike Dr. Mavutso, I had my visions and my dreams, but the visions, when I'm awake, were more vivid. I will stand here and see each and everyone's backgrounds, and if you are evil or good, what you did last night, and if you were my neighbor. So what I mean, if you were my neighbor, I will move. If I saw you doing something bad at night or any time, the next day I move. My family had that problem of looking for me all over Cape Town because they will know that I stay in Kailicha. Next week I'm in Philippi. The next week I'm in Constantia. So I have been everywhere. My daughter was 3 years old when I decided to acknowledge and accept my calling. She's 28 today. And she says to me, Mama, Mfuleni is the longest place that we have stayed ever since I was born. I've never been in a place for 5 years, but we have been at Mfuleni for 10 years now. So, if you love your studies, you love yourself. Honor, acknowledge. And they will guide you.
You must answer this question. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Mavoso and Ms. Kobeka. I believe there would be a lot of questions and comments. They shared some really profound knowledge, wisdom, and insights with us, and I would be surprised if we do not have questions or comments on the sharing.
Enkosi kakhulu ngale ntetha ibaleke kangaka, and I want to say that it is really an apt conversation in our institution, because we are a university that believes in transformation, but often when we speak about transformation, we talk about gender diversity, we talk about abilities or disabilities, we talk about so many other things, and religion. but very, very often we do not talk about uktwasa or ancestral calling. So I'm finding this conversation a very, very necessary conversation, which I hope that it's not only going to happen today, but become an ongoing conversation in our university, because we have students from all over Cape Town. We have students from the SADC region. We have students from different families, cultures, and so on. And we want to create an environment where every student feels seen, heard, and also not discriminated because umuntu uyatwasa. How do we begin as an institution to educate students that uktwasa is something that is normal? It might not be something that is part of your heritage, but it's something that is part of this other person's heritage. So how do we then also get to a point where we say, you don't have to agree with it, but you need to respect? It's like I always say with gender diversity, if someone identifies as trans or LGBTQI plus community, you don't have to agree with that person's sexuality, but you have to respect it. When they say, refer to me as she, but you see it he, it's not for you to question, because at the end of the day, that person's life has nothing to do with you. Who that person sleeps with at night has nothing to do with you. So it's about you focusing on yourself and rendering the other person the respect. So thank you very much for lifting this. And I also like the fact that you've highlighted that not everyone that experiences the symptoms uyatwasa. So that is a very important element, because we do have psychological disorders as well. So distinguishing and also putting a mark on the fact that it might not be uyatwasa, it might be that you have a psychological disorder. So it's very important for you to then look into yourself, and obviously you have family back home. And I believe that they are a source of support that one could lean on to understand these things even much better. But lastly, as I close off, it is also important to have a good relationship with your support system, your lecturers. We have the student counseling department. We have many support resources within the university that students could tap into when they experience these symptoms and they are maybe confused. So I really would like to urge everyone to be supportive to one another and not to discriminate and not to judge one another, because we are all here, but we are all very different. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Those were really valuable comments. And please pardon me if I guess wrong, but if I guess right, you are Zikona from the office that promotes transformation and inclusivity at the CPUT. Thank you, and we're really pleased to have you here.
Greetings. I just want to acknowledge you, my dear sister, that you happen to speak in English and in Xhosa, so I could get some of the things that you were talking about. Sisis Nonkosi, that's your name, right?
Yes.
Okay. I have always asked questions about this becoming a herbal. I've always have questions of people becoming a sangoma or a traditional healer. My first question: what's the difference between a sangoma and a traditional healer? If you answer that, then I'll move to the next. Yes, they're different.
A traditional healer is a sangoma. A traditional healer is just an English name. Okay. Maybe you want to ask what is the difference between a traditional healer and a herbalist.
No, I believe a traditional healer is a herbalist, from my understanding. So I think Sangoma is somebody that will see things in the spirit or so. So that's why I put it that way.
We all fall in the cluster of traditional healing.
Okay.
Somebody who, I think you are referring to Ikwele.
Okay.
Somebody who will just, you will go to this person and say, I've got a headache. They like a chemist. They mix herbs. So you'll go to a herbalist and say, I have a sore knee, I have a headache that doesn't go away. He or she knows what herbs to use, but he or she will not know what is the cause.
Okay.
And then igqirha or isangoma will look at you and get the messages and where it's coming from.
Okay. Thank you so much. So a sangoma is having some sort of a prophetic gift.
Yeah, or psychic powers if you can,
Okay,
if you might.
Yeah, okay. I'm a woman of God. I believe in God, the creator that created everything. So I just want to acknowledge you for saying that we all have ancestors, and we know we're coming from ancestral lines. So we need to acknowledge our ancestors and respect them, because without the ancestors, we will not be here. But we should not worship them. Did I hear you say something like that?
Correctly.
Okay, so it brings me to a point. I think it was about 10 years ago, I had an intern. I know in the Xhosa culture, when you start working, then there's a tradition that you need to go and thank your ancestors for bringing you up to where you are, that you are now a man or a woman, that you're earning money. That's what he told me. That it is his time now, as he's working and he's earning some money, he needs to go home and do this thing. But he knows, I always talk about the Bible, and I've always been talking to him and encouraging him. So how will he go and do this thing? Because what is happening, when people go to church, they go behind and do this thing in hiding. They pretend so that the pastor should not know. So what should he do? Then I was thinking, I said, okay, so give me some time, I will pray. Then I'll come back to you. But instantly, I just had the revelation that when you're doing this traditional thing, you don't need to run away from church, because you need to acknowledge your ancestors. So I told him, I said, when you're performing this, I said, do you as a person, that is your celebration, do you have anything to say? He said, yes. I said, okay, it's fine. When after the uncles, the aunties, or the papas, they finish speaking, when it's your time, then you acknowledge your ancestral line. Thank God for your father that link you to this family, or your mother that link you to this family, your grandfather, your great-grandfather. If you know their names, acknowledge them and thank God for bringing you through this lineage. Then after that, you thank God for the opportunity that you have come up to this level, and that is it. It is easy. I don't know if I've said it, and as a believer, we believe that when you thank, you talk it through Jesus Christ. But I don't know how it happens, so I don't know if it makes any sense of acknowledging your ancestors, but then at the end of the day, giving the ultimate thanks to God, the creator that we don't know, we don't see, but we know him because he is with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. When your parents send you to school, they pay for you, they dress you, they do everything for you. And you graduate, you go to work, and you decide to buy your parents a home and make a huge party. You're not worshiping your parents. You're acknowledging them. So that is the same. Thank you.
Sanibona ninjani? Ngiyaphila nami. Sawubona mama. I hope uyaphila. I wanted to ask you said if you are like a traditional healer, kuyabonakala kusukela usakhulu semncane, right?
Yebo.
What if it was made like from witchcraft and thina size sa accept as a family because awukwazi ukulapheka manje. Now uthwasile uyasebenza abantu like kunormal yonke into, but you know like awukhulanga like awukabanga nesipho sokuthi from amadlozi akho ukuthi traditional healer. Is it possible to like mawuba healed, abe back to normal, amanodlo zakhe normalize ukuthi okay, awusesisa ngoma manje.
If you were not isangoma,
Yes.
I think, let me start by saying, we are giving so much power to amagqwetha.
Yes.
We are giving so much power to the dark forces. I will say there's this thing, abantu bathi, kutwetyulwe idlozi. So utwasile but, awuzunyanga, awuzusebenza. I beg to differ. Oh. Sorry. My daughter said to me when I was writing, he said, Mama, you will never be able to read. Because when you speak, you move around. So now I'm starting to remember, she said. So coming back to you, unfortunately, this is my personal opinion. I do not believe that there is igqwirha so powerful that can make you isangoma from being a baby, unless unless igqwirha was your mother, unless igqwirha came from your line of family. And igqwirha, if it came from your line of family, it will not make you igqwirha. They will make you igqwirha. So if they want you to cross over to being igqwirha, so that I think they will do that because they want you to sabotage someone spiritually. But we are so powerful, men. We'll see through that. Here in Cape Town, for instance, I'm not disrespecting anyone, but there is amagqirha, sikhona sibaninzi. I always say there is amagqirha and there is amagqirha. Because now you'll go to Belleville, you'll find bathengisa amatshobe enkomo. And I promise you, you will never stand in the same stage with me netshobe elithengiweyo nam ndithwasile. My ancestors will never allow that. And your ancestors, if they are alive in you, they will not allow you to carry ichoba lenkomo efileyo yakomnye umzi.
Good afternoon. I have a question on the behalf of everyone. But then first of all, I would like to thank you for the teachings. You have taken us through the process of identifying someone that's spiritually gifted. However, I would like to ask, how do you assist someone in a public setting or even during class when they are going through a trance?
When they are going through a trance, during classes, you know, when somebody is epileptic, we say don't close them off. Don't make a circle around them. So if they are going through a trance, it comes anytime. Maybe of what you have seen, give me an example, because I might be in a trance right now, I'll just keep quiet. Because I have been practicing, so I won't fall down. So what is your experience or what have you heard, so that I will answer in line with that?
Okay, so let's say in a case of someone, they start causing disruption in the class. Maybe they start screaming or faint or...
Okay, and you know that this person has ancestral calling?
Not really.
Okay. I will tell you. When kids start to experience drugs, they will do those things. When they start using drugs, they will do those things. And then somebody that doesn't know anything about ukukula or ancestral calling, they might think that person has. If the person is experiencing that, they know already. So if you have been around that person, you will find out, say, small things. You are moving, you are getting out of this door, and when you are getting out of this door, they say, in the next door, we'll meet a person who's wearing green and white. And then you go to that drawer. Small things you will pick up before the ancestors. You remember? Okay, you don't remember because you don't know. The ancestors will only show up in a trance because they've been knocking, and nobody's opening. So you won't go to school and for the first time they have never shown you any visions, they never came in dreams, then they just boom, you faint in school because. So you will know, and people close to you, your friends will know, but something is off, man, ngobani. Uyathanda uvela thule nje okanye sithi sigqibe uba sizawubheka endaweni ethile atshintshe in the last minute. Okanye kungena somebody eningamaziyo niku same space avele nje akathi akakho right lona. So umntu ogulayo, you'll know that, you'll pick up that there's things that this person does or says that comes through and they happen. So when they are in a trance, you don't close them off. There's this thing, Dr. Mavusi, can I do that to you? That's to show. So there's this thing that people do when they see me being in trance at the back. Don't do that. Others will pray for you and put their head here. This is my heaven, this is my crown. You don't put your hands on my head. So those are the things that happens when you don't know. Don't touch them in their head. Don't touch them in their back. The best thing, if they haven't just collapsed, give them water. Don't force them to drink the water. Talk to them normal. If they are screaming and their name is Nonkosi, say Nonkosi. Uyangqola. Kusesikolweni apha. Ayonda uyalondo lena. So you'll say Nonkosi, you are making a noise and you are disrupting people. This is a school premises. Here's water. We acknowledge that you are here today. Thank you. So that's what you will do.
Thank you so much.
Oh, there's another question.
Last two hands.
Okay.
One there and one here.
Molweni.
Molweni mama.
Mna ndicela ubuza kuzobe ziphi i-ancestors xa abantu umuntu mhlambi eyokwenza ke eyofunda obubugqirha kodwa aphela apha efumani abuse baleka apha eziTVini siyabona nako cutting edge umuntu ebeye ewuthwasa pha arechwe abanye bakhutshwa izibeleko ithini kanye ulazi njani khona igqirha lamanyani elilona liza kwenza lento bekufamba liyalenza emntwini.
Enkosi mama. Mandiqale ndithi camakho ndabulela lo mbuzo okudala ndikulindele because i-social media yi-problem. I-ancestors zikhona always. Abantu, okay, maybe I need to say this in English. Yeah, maybe I need to say, Mama is asking, where are the ancestors when somebody goes for Sangoma training and the person is being abused because they see on TV and social media? The ancestors are always there. But people make ubugqirha ifashion. Abantu abagulayo, they also into fancy things. Being a Sangoma is not fancy and it's hard. So maybe someone from here, when I'm done talking, you say, hey, that mama has knowledge, man. I want to be. It was like. People go to Izangoma because they are rich. Some of them, they have fancy cars, and they dance well, and they have beadwork. That's problem number one. Your ancestors will always tell you, Mna, I'm good because I'm listening. Uqala kwami uthwasa, I was given igqirha. And I was 17. In fact, when I acknowledged it, I was 17, as I said. I was doing matric. And then my family didn't allow me to go to uthwasa. So igqirha was at Kutendane, and I am from King Williamstown. I've never been to Tsendane. So I didn't acknowledge, I didn't go for training. I went through schooling, I got married, and when I got married, the problems started. But because I was independent now, I could go anywhere I wanted. Now, I didn't know, my parents, the first thing that made me acknowledge ancestors is because, as I said, I listen. I didn't know my father's side of the family because they divorced when I was 4 years old. And then my mother's side of the family didn't allow me to go to my father's side. So my grandfather, my father's father, came into a dream. I was working at Lithotech. She said Bidvestat at the time. I was the HR officer there. So because I had money to follow the dream, I moved from Cape Town to King Williamstown, to the very same house I saw in a dream. So when I went to e-training, I went to Igqirha because ndalitonga Igqirha. But when I got there, this is where I'm going to tell you that Sangomas are there. When I got there, the guy who is Igqirha said to me, I have been waiting for you for 5 years. I am no longer training abantu ngoku. I am only working as a herbalist. So my wife is going to train you. And immediately he said, my wife is going to train you. Something flinched inside of me, but I didn't know what is it. And at this time, the wife was in the room, listening in the conversation, but I didn't know that. But the husband asked me, what kind of beads did you see? I guess she got mad at my answer. So I said, no, I have not seen beads yet. I have these dreams. I am in the forest, in the house alone. I am fasting, I am praying. And then the only thing I saw, I didn't know Ingaga then. Unfortunately, I don't have it with me. But I described it as umhlat, izinyo. And she came out when I said that. What is so born in Simbizamadoda Makhulu nje, so ulibonile igqabi leyeza. Kuba uba ukalibona igqabi leyeza, awuzuthwasiswa apha. Funeka bulibona kuCentane, uhambe uyowulikha, ubuye uze nalo apha. And because uMadlongo uSophitsho uyemyema uNgqolomsila wathi ningamphendula umuntu omdala. When she said that, I said inside to me, go to hell. So I said loudly, Tamaku mama, I haven't seen any herbs yet. And that was it. I told myself I'm not going back there. And I went back. Remember, I don't know this because my family does not acknowledge it. But I just came home and say, Andi yuklondo yenu because ababantu bayageza. Dafumane gqirha lesibini, lanbopha. She was good. But then she was offered 4,000 rands to give me poison. I saw, ancestors showed me. On a Monday, I had this dream. And I even saw the person from my family paying her the 4,000 rands. And on a Friday, I was supposed to go and sleep in her house. I never went to date. All my family was saying, you must go because you came here with Eli Gqirha uliphuphile. I said, ndiliphuphile again ubalizandlisa. So, your ancestors will never, it's because thina sinenkani siyaphikiza. I hear people saying, no, don't do everything that the ancestors are saying. Huh? That's your downfall. So, abantu baba phaya, mna I tell you mama, if ela gqirha belisenza kulando kulamntana was doing that to my family, I will be in jail now. Because I was going to kill her right there in my family's premises if she was going to beat up my family member like that. Ayikho lando ebugqirheni. Ayikho. Senokwenzeka ke yena ke wayewonishiwe zizihlwele zakhe, but because ubone abantu bafuna umntwana abakhwetha abaninzi. Bafuna umuntu owaziwayo in most cases. abantu balandela ichomi. Not that abantu bakokwabo abekho. My mother was saying, I don't believe this thing. You went to the first sangoma, you second sangoma. I graduated and got, well, this is our cap. You wear yours here, we wear ours here. So I graduated from the third one. From Olundi, Neman Fletcher. All the way from, because you listen to your ancestors. If they say go, the first one that was going to poison me, I paid her already for the training, but I left that money there because my calling was more important than the money.
Okay, ndicela uphinde explain apha kumama. Yabona apha ekuguleni iba khona ibhadi. Likhona ibhadi njena uthi ugula ungxame ubone igqirha lilihle. Kanti lo muntu nguluza kulemaza. Liyakwazi ugqirha lekuthathela isihlwele sesakho. Uthi ngoku ubuclever ubungena umuntu ubonayo ubona songasaboni. Uma uqala ugula uthwasa. Linda, because ayavela amagqirha abe-10. Linda, likhona lizawuvela. Khawucele apha kokwenu nje uvume lento ikugulisayo. Ulinde noba yi3 years ungangxami. Because eyona nto ichanayo kukungxama. Uhambe ngoku soyodibana nezinto ebengamelekanga udibana nazo. Uvalwe legqirha wenziwe yonke lento because akafani xa uliphuphile khakuqala ukulandelele qala uba ingaba lo muntu abantu eseke bancedile ubabeke phi qala before you go through. Yenza i-research yakho enough ngaye before you go through. Thank you.
Benifuna ubuza into yobana I had this friend then ebenyukelwe lidlozi but then wabe evale izandla. My question is, what is the significance of opening ezazandla zakhe? Because we were told to open them.
So what happened when you opened izandla zakhe?
She became a bit better, then waye walala ke.
It might happen that ebebona into, so ebecimba uyayibamba. Remember, sometimes when you are in that trance mode, things you see spiritually as a young twasa, things you see spiritually, you will think that they are here. So if she was trying to hold on to something or catch something that was maybe coming to disturb people, she will say up until you open that hand. Then she will stay in that.
Thank you.
Enkos Kakulu, Enkos Mama, Enkos Dr. Mavusu. So I really just want to thank our guest for what was a very, very exciting and I think informative conversation. I want to thank them for reminding us truly that health and wellness cannot always be explained through medical science, but also through the deeper cultural and spiritual dimensions that we have at play in our classrooms and in our spaces on a daily basis. So we really thank them for that. And I hope that we've taken lessons from this on how to deal with all of what they've raised. But they've also assisted us really to recognize that both science and tradition have their weaknesses, but they also have their strengths and they also have their wisdoms. So, for guiding us, and they've truly guided us, to think more deeply about how culture, spirituality, and science can come together in one academic space, in one classroom, and in our lives. Can we please give them a final round of applause? And I want to thank Horticultural Sciences for organizing such an exciting conversation for us as we prepare ourselves for the final round of our fashion show. And we would be welcoming our elegant I didn't get their names. Okay, thank you. So this round we're welcoming CPUT and Moleboheng to the podium in the final round of the fashion show. Thank you. Are we ready for them this time? Better luck, I hope. And as they come onto the podium, can mathematical sciences prepare to present to us? Them onto the podium. Thank you so much. We have great models here. They represented very well, and they represented mathematical sciences well, and that was partly to introduce mathematical sciences onto the podium as we welcome Mr. Jerome Tanke for the mathematical sciences presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Happy Heritage Month to everyone. Welcome to the show. What we are doing here today is actually not mathematical science, it's purely heritage. because we are African, and then we must try to share our heritage together. So what I'm trying to share with you is what is common to many cultures in Africa. I will just start with the simplest one here, which is a comb like this. This comb is made out of the ebony wood. What does it symbolize again? It symbolizes Afro. This is actually the Afritude, our habit. This one symbolizes the Afro, made of African wood. Normally, combing the hair with this makes the hair healthier also, because it makes of something natural. Okay, coming out of this, let me continue with what we have here. How do we call this again? This is a mask, African mask. So what was the purpose of this? This was actually the mask that our parents, our warriors used to wear. Yeah. They used to wear this whenever they have to train. Their training will normally take place in sort of dances. Yeah, their training was always the dance. And then, obviously, with all those dances, they will gather some tools. Like this one, you have an idea? It's a shaker, yeah? They combine a lot of tools, shakers, and you have also things like the flute here made of the bamboos from the equatorial forest. So they will combine a lot of tools to make a huge dance. This is what something like called the karimba, in the general term that many of you know. So they will form a folkloric dance made of the rhythm made of several instruments. That will really make it special. Now, the purpose of this was to boost up their mind whenever they have to face the adversity. They have to prepare themselves to war. Unfortunately, Africa has been mostly in the context of preparing self-defense and everything. And this is quite common to many cultures. And the mask, as we say, was at the same time worn to frighten the opponent. Because normally when you cover up your face and you are facing the opponent, no one knows what face is hidden behind the mask. It played the role of the shield at the same time, as well as the intimidating tool to the opponent. Yeah. Okay. Moving to another dimension, this flute in the enclaved area, in the landlocked areas of the area, what I'm describing here is specifically from the grass field land in the small community in Cameroon, grass field land. So they normally use this as a communicating tool. So the way they will blow it and the sound they will make will tell the type of message that they want to vehiculate. So whenever maybe an event or somebody passed on or there is something that happened or a community must gather for a certain extreme or urgent ceremony, then they will blow it, and the way they blow it will tell exactly the message that they want to pass to the community. Neighboring, 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers, and so on. Yeah. Okay. Now, we'll learn now with this other tool here. What are we seeing here? A frog. This is something to mimic these hunters. That normally is one of the examples that I'm showing. This was to mimic the hunters. We will be using some tools, specific tools like this, to call the prey. to call the prey, to communicate with the prey, so that the prey will be approaching. They will call them. So, depending on the type of the prey that they will make, they can make the noise. Even with their hand, they can blow. They can blow and mimic these animals, and then the animal will be approaching them. We're approaching them, minimizing then their effort, their hunting efforts. Can you see that? So minimizing their hunting effort. So these are examples of things that we are sharing. Now, in our communities, what is this? A tortoise, yeah. In our communities, a tortoise represented the wisdom. Yeah, it represents wisdom. So in the king's kingdom, in the chief's yard, turtles were normally used as judges in the matters. So whenever there is an issue, even if say between families or maybe even between inter-communities at a certain extent, they will convoke the trial, and people will gather. The protagonists will be there. No, they normally use the natural turtle, and these are initiated turtles. I'm not speaking as an initiator. I'm just describing what happened. So they will use these turtles to judge the matter. And the turtle will come and judge it and eventually declares who is innocent in the matter and who is guilty. Yeah. The turtle will judge. Yeah, and are we understanding each other? This turtle will come and judge the matter and proclaim who is actually innocent in the matter and who is also the one guilty. And beside that, beyond that, turtles, as we said, is a wise animal. They normally use it also at a certain extent as a part of the fetish. You guys know what is a fetish? A fetish is like something prepared to guard the premises of the farm. Yeah, to prevent it from abnormal theft and so on in the surrounding. So they will make this. We normally call it also a juju somewhere. So they will make this as a juju. They will put it in the premises. And obviously, the way they put it, they may not use this artificial one were designed to substitute to the natural one because they may not use the natural turtle to play this role. So they will do this and place it there. People will really believe. You can see the way it is moving. And they will add some stuff there on this. And obviously, it will really play a role. We grew up on that and we believe that this was actually the incarnation of some spirits that were guarding the farm. So those are some tools that they were using to mount the guard on the farm to prevent those little thieves to enter and rob the crops and so on from the farm. And you can see also the bird here, this one. It's actually, can you see it? All of you can see it, right? All of you can see that? All of you can see that? You can see that the bird is actually pivoting here. Yeah, pivoting. So what was the use of this in the communities? Whenever the families, they prepare their silos in the farm to plant their seeds and so on. The birds in the area are so wise. The birds will come after them and remove those seeds, and remove the seeds and eat the seeds. So what they will prepare a bird like this, and they will wear on this bird some funny things. This will become like a queen or a ghost of belt and something very terrifying that they will place in the farm at multiple corners of the farm. Obviously, you can see the way it is rotating and so on. It is so with all the things that they will put on, the bird will behave like the mother of all birds that will swallow all the birds that will try to come in the farm to remove those seeds that are planted. So then the crops will be saved and eventually grow normally. So this is the little thing that I have to share with you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tanker. I suppose there will be questions, but can you perhaps try and link some of these to the physics discipline that you come from for us, if it's possible? If there is a link.
The physics part, I can just explain some physics principle in this. The physics principle, this one you can see is the balancing. There's a balancing principle here, where you can see that, for instance, for this bird, there's a self-adjustment. The self-adjustment of dynamic equilibrium, you can see even though it's moving or rotating, it's spinning, it is still keeping stability. So that's the principle of balancing. This also is valid for the turtle. The turtle is just the perfect static equilibrium that we normally teach our students. Yeah, this head is hanging on a small rope that is placed at the strict center, holding it to balance on both sides, because there's a small counterweight on the inside part that is holding the head exactly at that position, so that even when it is moving, it still keeps that equilibrium. When we come to things like this flute, we are talking here now about the sound waves that we teach our students. Then if you make a sound here, the notes, the resonance that you have here will differ with respect to the length of the pipe that you have here. And it gives us an open close. When you see this pipe here, one side is closed while the other is open. It gives a system that we call the open close type that we teach our students. That resonance also applies on this and on this flute as well. So, yeah, the rest is just purely heritage.
Thank you. Do we have any comment or question? And I raise that question particularly because I believe our ancestors or generations before us that created and used these items had science applied to their creation and their use. And of course, there is a great link between these aspects and science. Thank you so much, Mr. Tanke. Lovely. And with that, we're going to invite agriculture all the way from the beautiful lands of Wellington to come forward and present to us. Oh, sorry. Agric, it seems you were a bit hesitant and you rightly needed to be. So I think food science and technology is going first. You are last and best, I believe. So we're inviting Dr. Shaisa and his team comprising, so So we are inviting Dr. Mshaisa and his team comprising Musa Mojela, Tabile Biela, Sikelelwa Kili, Tuliswa Pindina, Ridozula Nochava, Patuchezo, Nechanda, Wen Gilmore, and Lindek to please come forward and trail us with what they have prepared for this heritage event. Thank you so much.
Greetings, distinguished guests and fellow presenters. I'm Wayne Gilmer-Lindeque, and I'll be giving you a short introduction into the Edible Insects Research Group. First, I would like to bring honor to our venerable supervisor, Dr. Vusi Vincent Mshaisha, whose continued guidance helps us in forming the path into further research into edible insects. I would also like to give thanks to my fellow collaborators here in the Edible Insects Research Group. Firstly, what are edible insects? Edible insects is a group of over 2,000 edible insects that can be found in nature. Sorry, I'm nervous. They can be found from coleoptera, lepidoptera, beetles, worms, and can be consumed from any stage of their life cycle from pupae, larvae, to the final adult form. I would like to give over to my fellow presenter, Mr. Rido, to continue on to why and why edible insects. Thank you.
The global population is growing, and it has been estimated by the UN that by 2080, the population will grow and it will be about 10.3 billion. And there will be the need for us to have sustainable proteins. So we have to have alternatives to bring these proteins. So as you know, the traditional proteins that we have are coming from sources like beef, chicken, pork, and you will realize that these are resource intensive. They need so much so that we can grow them. They need land, they need space, they need water, and they need a lot of feed. So it's best that we move to the alternatives that are now, if I can say, sustainable. So insects are abundant and they are diverse, as Wayne already has told you, and there is almost 2 billion people who are consuming insects worldwide. So there are so many benefits that they get from these insects. The nutritional value, for example, they are very high in protein and they are very high in essential amino acids. If you don't know what essential amino acids, they are building blocks of proteins. So they are very high in these essential amino acids, and your body cannot produce them. So it means you need them, you need to consume them. So they are very high in such. And they're also very high in micronutrients like vitamins, which is vitamins B12, and also they are high in iron and zinc, and also they consist of healthy fats. If you have time after this, you can look at these postures. You can see on how these insects are rich in nutrients. Okay, the other benefits that we get from them is that I already mentioned that they require less land, and they require less water, they require less feed. If you see the picture from the agriculture here, you see that these animals, they require so much land, and we don't have so much land in South Africa. And for us to be able to grow the alternatives of the proteins that we can have, we can just have these on a tray behind your house, and then you can build the pile of trays, and then still you will have the same proteins that you can get from these sources. So we also get an economic opportunity. So with economic opportunity, these are usually found in rural areas, and people who consume them are in the rural areas. So we create new jobs for people in the rural areas, and there won't be a need for influx to come to the cities. You will know that in the cities, people are crowded. So it also helps with food security. It provides affordable and alternative source of proteins in regions, especially that are facing problems like malnutrition. And also, what we are gathered for today, the heritage. With this, we uphold our culture and heritage. In many African and Asian and Latin American cultures, insect consumption or entomophagy is a century old. It's centuries old. So in Limpopo, just as Ms. Kobe has already mentioned, that there are people who even live up to 100. So in Limpopo, Venda people, they consume mealworms as their delicacy. And they are not only consuming them as delicacy, they are also a rich source of nutrition. So therefore, when we eat these insects, it's not just about food, but it reflects our tradition, our identity, and our connection to nature. So this research group interest is reviving the practice of our own tradition and combining them with innovation. I will give it to my next colleague, who will be taking you through the insects that we have here. It's not all of them, but at least you will get to learn with some of them and where they are sourced. Thank you.
Ndi masiaren machuloni ngadzina ndife patuchedze netsianda. Today I'll be taking you through guys through one of the edible insects, such as which is crickets, house crickets. House crickets have gained attention as one of the edible insect that can be used as a alternative for conventional products or conventional proteins such as beef, pork, and other milk. Yeah. So these edible insects called house crickets in English. They are also known in Ngachivenda. They are called tonono, and in isiXhosa they are called crickets. So I'm sorry. These edible insects originate from Eurasia, which is basically Europe and Asia. These edible insects, if you can look, when we're done with the presentation, you can look at the research that has been done. These edible insects are one of the most nutrient-dense insects in the world, such as, for example, with cricket. Cricket have protein content ranging from 60 to 75% protein content in dry wheat. These edible insects are consumed in North America, South America, Asia, Europe, South Korea, and even in Mexico. These edible insects are eaten as in Africa. There's in Uganda and Kenya. These edible insects are consumed as a snack, as a street snack. They are normally roasted in open flames or in a pan, and they are sold as a street food. These edible insects have possess potential to be used, to be integrated in the food system, that as the world global population is expected to reach 9 billion by 2050, this move towards edible insects such as crickets can be used to counter social issues such as malnutrition, hunger, and food insecurities. However, such challenges do still exist, but however, as one of the researchers or as an edible insects group, we look to integrate these edible insects into food products. As you will see from, there's an example of edible crickets that were used as a snack. They are there. So these edible insects were produced, and then they were made into a product, and it was used as a snack. So these edible insects such as crickets really have a future in our food systems, and I believe that one day there will come a time where we will depend on these edible insects. Not yet, but eventually we will. But then this is because mostly of such issues such as the growing population, and they will also have a problem with sustainability. So these edible insects will provide a possible alternative to the agricultural folks. So we won't really have to depend on the cows and so on. Thank you so much. I'll call my next colleague to give you another example of an edible insect. Thank you.
Sanibonani, igama lami nguThabile wakwaBiyela. Ngizokhuluma about one of the examples of edible insects, which is mealworm. So imagine getting a full dose of protein, iron, and healthy fats from something smaller than your finger. That's the power of mealworm, scientifically known as E. tenebrio molito. They are nutrient-packed, sustainable, and incredibly versatile. Now let's take back in time. Eating insects has been part of our heritage from centuries. In South Africa, communities have long harvested mopane worms, termites, and other edible insects as part of our culture and history. Mealworms fit right into this story, reminding us that African communities have always been innovative in using what nature provides to us. Mealworms are rich in protein, healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals, making them a powerhouse of nutrients. What makes them more special is that they are sustainable compared to poultry and chicken. So they need less water, less feed, and less land. They have been recognized as one of the most food that can, they have been recognized as one of the food that can help fight global hunger. So where do you get mealworms? Mealworms are farmed in a controlled environment, and then after they are farmed, you wait them until they grow. Before they reach our plates, mealworms are carefully processed, blanched, and cleaned so that they can be safe and ready to be consumed by consumers. So the exciting part about mealworm is that they are not just eaten plain. They can be processed into protein shakes, snacks, energy bars, even you can bake with mealworms. This shows how African heritage and modern innovation can come together in our plates. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Musa Mujela, and I am honored. Good day, everyone. My name is Musa Mujela, and I am honored to be one of the candidates representing Food Science and Technology Department. And with that, I would like to say Happy Heritage Day. I'll be presenting about Mopani worms, also known as Madura in Shona, Masonja in Venda, Macimbi in Ndebele, and Pani in Setswana. These are type of edible caterpillar that are widely consumed in southern Africa, particularly in Zimbabwe, Botswana, Limpopo, and some part of Mpumalanga. Beyond heritage, Mopani worms are also nutritional powerhouse. Did you guys know that 100 grams of dried Mopani worms contain more than the same amount of beef? Well, researchers have proven that. That's why today, in the field of food science and technology, we study edible insects like Mopani worms as a sustainable alternative to conventional meat or protein that we normally eat. Traditionally, harvesting Mopani worms was not just about food. It was a community activity where families would go out together during rainy days or rainy season, collect Mopani worms, clean them, and prepare them for drying or cooking. Recipes differ from cultures. Others they enjoy them fried, others they'll stew them with onions and tomatoes, and others enjoy them just like a crunchy snack. And this diversity of preparation reflects the diversity of our culture or heritage itself. So now we talk about Mopani worms on Heritage Day. We are not just talking about food, we are celebrating resilience, sustainability, and culture passed down through generations. And I'll pass to my colleague.
Molweni, ninjani, ndiyaphila nami inkosi. Happy Heritage Day to all of you. Lo ome phambi kwenu nguThuliswa Phindani, and I will be taking you through the last example that we have for the insect, which is known as black soldier fly. So, have you ever imagined that a tiny insect could play a big role in the future of food? If you asked me 4 years ago, I would also say no. But the black soldier fly, also known as BSF, and also scientifically known as Hemechia illucinans, is exactly one of those insects, and it's starting to capture attention worldwide. These flies are packed with protein, healthy fats, and essential minerals, making them incredibly nutritious. Yet, despite their potential, despite the benefits, despite zonke izinto ezimnandi engiqobo zithetha ngazo, no mainstream food products have been produced or developed from these insects. Well, at least not yet. While insects have been part of African diets for generations, the black soldier fly itself wasn't traditionally eaten compared to the other insects that my colleagues were mentioning. Its role is more about modern innovation, which includes finding sustainable, eco-friendly, and, which means finding sustainable, eco-friendly ways to produce protein with minimal land, water, and energy compared to traditional livestock. Where are these insects found here in South Africa? So here in South Africa, black soldier flies are naturally found in warm, humid environments across provinces such as KwaZulu-Natal, Limpopo, and Mpumalanga. So they thrive especially in areas with organic waste, making them ideal for farming initiatives aimed at recycling food waste and producing sustainable protein. So This Heritage Day, as we celebrate our culture and our history, the BSF reminds us that innovation doesn't have to erase tradition. It shows how we can honor our heritage of insect consumption while exploring new solutions for food security, nutrition, and sustainability, blending ancestral wisdom with modern science for a better, brighter, and healthier future. Thank you. I will be handing over to my colleague.
Molweni. Lona ume phambi kwenu ngusikelelwa kili. Umabhayi, ukhetsha, umkhumbeni, umthokrako ongatyiwa nazibhokhwe. Inyoka emnyama yecandiziziba. I am part of the edible insect group and I'll be wrapping up our presentation today. So please get ready for a crunchy finale. Our grandparents knew the secret long ago. Mopani worms, termites, and locusts, which are known as intete in isiXhosa, and so forth. These weren't just snakes, they were survival. Today, science is finally catching up to what tradition already knows. As my fellow group members have shared, edible insects are not something new to us here in South Africa. They've been part of our diets and traditions for generations, from mopani worms enjoyed in Limpopo to termites gathered in rural communities. They connect us to our heritage and remind us how our ancestors lived closely with nature. But here's the exciting part. Edible insects are not only about the past, they can play a huge role in our future, and that's why research is so important. Through research, we can better understand the nutritional benefits of these insects, making sure they are safe, and find new and creative ways to include them in modern foods. Imagine walking into a store and seeing a high-protein energy bar made from mopani worms, or eco-friendly insect farms that can raise insects instead of our traditional livestock, which is going to save land and water. With proper research, this isn't just imagination, it's possible. We can even have fun with it. Think cricket cookies, your locust lattes, or maybe even grasshopper smoothies. Research can help us bring our heritage into the future in creative, sustainable, and yes, even tasty ways. The challenge is that the research needs funding. We need sponsors and supporters to invest in laboratories, equipment, and projects that can turn these ideas into reality. Without financial support, we cannot take this proud tradition of ours and develop it into something bigger that could help fight hunger, create jobs, and even protect our environment. So here is the call to action. We are continuously looking for sponsors to fund edible insect research so that we can be able to preserve our heritage, feed our communities, and build a healthier, greener, and crunchier future. Thank you, and remember, the future might just be crunchy as edible insects.
Yes, please.
What are we doing? Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the food science and technology team. Do we have questions and comments for the team, please? As they pose and as we ask agriculture to prepare to offer the last presentation or demonstration, do we have any questions or comments? So in the absence of any questions or comments, we are really thankful that food science and technology has truly demonstrated today that edible insects, thank you. Thank you for demonstrating to us that edible insects are in fact very nutritious and they are a part of our heritage, and our future food sustainability lies in this. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and we welcome agriculture to come forward for the final presentation of the day. So we're inviting Apiwe Shani, Apiwe Ashani, as well assisted by Prince Mlanga, and they are capably led by Mr. Atenkosi Kolana.
They had a presentation prepared. Okay. Michelle? Yeah, I believe so.
Where's Miss? Where's Miss Soli? Is Prof. Duffy? Oh.
Yes, this one.
Is that you?
Put it in slide for me.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, sure. What did I make a mic? This one?
No, this.
Which one? This one?
Use this, yeah.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, I see everyone looks a bit fatigued and exhausted. I understand we've been having a vibrant function, and definitely it is energy consuming. By the way, ndingumqithi undinga uSophicho. Ndazalwa ngobhayi okhetshe nyeke emnyama ecanda iziziba. Ndazalwa ngamagcina otyhopho ononkwindla. But the name is afore introduced. I'm Apiwe Qashani. Here with me, Praise Mhlanga. Just a disclaimer, guys. Last week we lost a bet, so we never received the presentation to prepare ourselves. So we were just told that it will be a surprise on what we are going to present. So hopefully it won't be too bad. So the presentation is of traditional mulching known as Uquma or Ugcina Umhlaba. So honoring our heritage, preserving our water as well. So the outline of our presentation, it will comprise of the introduction, linking heritage and agriculture, how mulching saves water, other heritage-based practices in agriculture, audience engagement, practical demonstration, then we conclude. Basically, Heritage Day is about celebrating our culture, history, and traditions. In agriculture, our heritage includes traditional knowledge passed down from our ancestors who worked the land long before modern technology, and definitely this has been mentioned even by the latter speakers. One of these practices is traditional mulching, which shows how our elders valued sustainability and water conservation. So definitely they were working smart but not hard, as you would have known that back then the only source of water would be rainwater or from the rivers. So definitely they had to preserve water and not work very hard in fetching the water. So linking heritage and agriculture. Our ancestors used dry grass, leaves, animal manure, and crop residues not only to feed the soil, but to protect it. This also brings into light that in agriculture, we don't necessarily have waste. Waste is something that is valuable to us, as it can be of that fills the soil and also fertilizes it. So these practices are part of our agricultural heritage, showing respect for the land as a living source. So definitely land is a living source because, as I've mentioned on the latter bullet point, that we do feed the land. So today's science proves what our forefathers already knew: mulching saves water and as well improves soil health. Okay, these are few visuals for mulching, what actually mulching is basically. It's the dry grass, it can be leaves, as I've mentioned earlier, or cow manure that can be used around the crops that you are growing. So this actually also helps to prevent weed growth. It controls weeds, as it's something that makes it difficult, or they compete with the crops that you are growing. So this suppresses the weeds from growing and as well conserves the water that you would have used to irrigate your crops. So now, how mulching saves water? It mainly prevents evaporation, of which it keeps the soil moist. So, okay, it will be shown later on when my colleague does the practical demonstration on how actually mulching saves water. Then again, it protects soil from the hot African sun and strong winds, improves rainwater infiltration, less runoff. So just a glimpse of how the soil will be looking when it's mixed with cow manure, leaves, or dry grass. It wouldn't be so compacted. It will have air spaces underneath, so definitely rainwater will be easy to penetrate and go straight to the roots, rather than having just a dry soil without anything and it will be compacted. Then the rainwater will just run off from the surface and it wouldn't infiltrate. So that will be a waste of the natural resource, of which it's rainwater. So at least when we have mulching, it can conserve and retain water. Then again, it provides fertility when organic mulch decomposes. So again, as I mentioned, it boosts the soil fertility, as such waste will be thrown off to the ground and it decomposes. Then other traditional methods will be intercropping, mixing crops like maize and beans. So in this method, it's whereby you are not only planting just one variety, but then mixing, based on this example, maize and beans. So remember, when it comes to beans, the intercropping is whereby beans assist in nitrogen fixation, whereby it absorbs the nitrogen from the earth, then turns it into ammonia, then later, I think it's ammonium if I'm not mistaken, NH4 or N4, I'm not sure, of which that acts as a fertilizer for the maize, of which maize needs a lot of nitrogen to grow its greener leaves. So that's intercropping, and again, it shows how intellectual our ancestors have been even way before science have been invented, or not really invented. Again, use of kraal manure for soil fertility. Kraal manure may be your chicken manure, goat, sheep, or cow dung. So they also have the nutrients to fertilize the soil so that your crops will grow beautifully. So then rainwater harvesting from roofs and drums. So some of you, maybe those who are from the rural areas, may know how scarce water is. So when it's the rainfall season, there will be drums and buckets at the corners of the house just to harvest the rainwater from the roof. And again, indigenous seed saving and selection, definitely for the next planting season. Then this reminds us that our heritage is also knowledge for survival, as also mentioned by later speakers from food science and technology. So now I'll be having a few questions. Not sure if Praise would like to question them from the house. Praise? Okay. Okay, guys, Praise is just one person who's so practical. So I'll just further going to probably pose a few questions to the house. So maybe if anyone would know, then which traditional agricultural practices did your parents or grandparents use to save water? So anyone from the crowd, I'm not sure if you can assist with the mic. Mulching. Gifts? We have wine. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I do understand. I think you are trying to talk about that thing usually we're around rivers or around a well, a well, deep hole where you pull the water, yes. So definitely that's a correct answer. I'm not sure if you do before the wine. Is this a beer? All right. Okay.
Okay, Mina, back home, I'm from Limpopo, by the way. Back home, how they used to harvest water, we stayed next to the river.
Okay.
So during a rainy time or rainy season, my grandmom will make sure that she harvests a lot of water, and they will do a hole, like, what is it called?
I think it's a well.
And they will store that water in that hole for days where there's no water or rainy days, there's no rain.
All right, perfect. So we have, okay.
Mna ndisebenzisa iimbombozi ezi zilahlwayo ndizichola phaa etiphini phaa ebhek ndiziqokelele ndawugqiba xa kunetha imvula ndibeke ifatyi yam ibhlu phaa ndimane ndikhuphela ndivale.
Yayiva ke ngoku. Yes, I think we had another hand.
The first one for sure, collection of water, because as I mentioned on the farm, we didn't have running water like taps and stuff, so we had tanks, and we also use buckets as well for extra water. And I still use that practice myself for my own. I have an organic garden back home, so I also do the same, especially with my new seeds. I believe so much in rainwater, for example. So I like to start my seeds with that type of water from the buckets. Then I can continue, using tap water. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. And definitely all the methods are indeed useful. Plus maybe those that who have been around Western Cape for quite some time, I think it was around 2018, we were at some point of reaching day zero. There was something like that of not having water. So such methods are very helpful in preserving and retaining water. So the following question will be, have you seen mulching being practiced in your community? If so, then what materials were used? Okay, I think there's a hand there. A prize for this one will be a live chicken.
Hello guys. The material, the methods, you said what method we used. At home we usually use the dry grass. When there is the guys who cut the grass, then we collect the grass and put it on the side of the garden, and then when it's dry, then we put it on, we use it as mulching, and sometimes we also use the sawdust. Yes.
Perfect. Not sure if we have another hand. We have another hand that side. And wood chips as well. Definitely, I think just beneath the podium, practical example. Definitely.
And also cow dung.
Cow dung, Perfect, perfect. So yeah, I think those are all the hands for that round. Then the last question will be on Heritage Day. How can we honor and revive these agricultural traditions in our communities? Okay.
There's a sheep for the sweetness.
Okay, I think by calling events like this one, especially in the communities, and you have a mixed bag of people, academics and community leaders and elders, so that they can teach us and the younger ones to learn, and that is the way that you could do that. And the younger ones will learn, because I'm learning things that I've never known. And I'm saying to my colleague, we've been having taps on the street. We never had all these things, you understand?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you can do this and then have open days on days like this or a day before to teach us from the elders and academics and scientists, everyone. Thank you. Where's my
Lovely.
gift?
To the event organizers, we will next year won't have Heritage Day in this fashion. We will go to the community. We will decide which one.
This is a topic very close to my heart, so thank you for this. I think we can start by encouraging people to plant a garden. I have one, and I don't buy spinach, tomatoes, green peppers, carrots. There's things that I don't go to the shop for, and that saves me money. So that we just need to go back to our roots, really. So if all of us can do that, if you don't have land, just find a container, If it's a plastic one, poke holes underneath so that your crops can breathe, and buy seeds.
Yeah.
Seeds are cheap. I think 30 rands. So it's really that simple for me. You don't even need land, just use containers, and I use everything, even old bathtubs. So thank you.
While I take the mic that side, I just want to inform the audience here that beautiful lady there, Ms. Mobo, she's got a garden in the back, and she's inspiring all of us in the faculty to plant. She's even growing mushrooms, guys. Garlic and ginger. If you run short of stuff, here's the lady to go to.
I just want to say, if CPUT can have a short course for everybody, for the community, maybe on a Saturdays. Every Saturday, we know that we're going to CPUT for gardening, so that we can know how to treat our vegetables, because we're having the problem of insects as well, and the snails. We don't know, especially the birds. My biggest problem is the birds, because I'm having vegetables as well. And I don't throw away the waste from my vegetables. I also make manure with it.
Lovely.
One last question, comment.
Okay, since CPUT is a community where a lot of students come from different communities, I think this is the assignment for like every student, maybe most from agriculture. So when you go back home, because most of us come from rural areas, then you should just use your knowledge from here at CPUT to plant it there in the rural areas, to educate people, because they are not aware of most of the things, like the practical examples that you mentioned of using mulching and everything. So in rural areas, the elders usually just sit at home and do nothing, or some they do work, but then they also wait for the Department of Agriculture to give them seeds, to give them tractors to utilize the land, but then teaching the communities to have like small yana gardens at the corner of or at the back of your house, and then educate them on which fertilizer uses that you can just use naturally, organically, to grow your crops without using the chemicals from fertilizer that you will buy, because they most of them, they affect climate.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Very thoughtful. So yes, that was our last question. And then for your prize, we forgot the corkscrew. We're going to open it for you. That's too much for you. So then we'll be doing a practical demonstration after this presentation. Then in conclusion, just to conclude, heritage is not only about food, clothes, or music. It is also about knowledge and practices that sustained our people. By practicing traditional mulching, we honor our ancestors' wisdom while addressing today's challenges of water scarcity and climate change. Let us embrace and revive these practices as part of our living heritage. Then that's the end of our presentation. Just now we will be doing a practical demonstration of mulching. But then, however, I have just gave a glimpse of how it looks. You can also use the wood chips, also salt dust, and other organic matter that you can utilize. So Praise will be assisting us. Then I think I will explain again on the saving of, on how we conserve water. So yeah, Praise will just make the demonstration for us, then we're off the stage. So I'm not sure what to... Yeah, we'll just use what pot. Yeah. Okay, I think I will just explain for him. Oh, yeah, sure. So yes, guys, this is our grass, but then we couldn't wait much to let it dry and it becomes yellowish, brownish. So it's not weed, yeah. So you will just imagine, guys, that you have your crop planted, né? Then you have the grass laid around the crop. So right now, Praise just irrigated his plant. So either it's too hot or not, the water will at least be retained beneath the grass. So there will be less water vapor, like evaporation, because even the sun rays don't hit the water directly. It just hits the grass on top. So the plant has almost all the time that it needs to absorb the water from the ground, unlike when it's just an open land that is exposed to the direct rays of the sun. So this definitely helps in retaining the water. Maybe you can irrigate today, you jump tomorrow, then irrigate on the other day. But if it's an open land, it may require you to irrigate daily. So this is another method of protecting the soil, even from soil erosion. Also when it's raining, there will be less runoff of the water. And I'm as well conserving water, as we have mentioned. That's the end of our presentation, guys, and thank you.
Is there any questions, guys? Oh, it's a question there. Welcome, guys. Prof. Tofi is getting ready for the vote of thanks.
Okay. Oh, molweni. Bengicela ubuza uba benifuna nicela abafama uba intercropping inceda kanjani? Intercropping.
You want me to tell them or you want to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can, madam. Intercropping, guys, ne? Okay, now I remember. Intercropping, again, as I've mentioned earlier, it's whereby you have different varieties of crops in one space or plot, ne? So the example that we provided here was of beans and maize. That beans, they act as a supplement to maize, as they do the nitrogen fixation and they supply the maize with that nitrogen as a fertility. But then again, it helps to, I'm forgetting this main term, but then to preserve the soil. If you don't, for instance, rotate your crops, this crop planting season you plant a cabbage, then next season again cabbage, then the soil loses its nutrients and value. But then rather, if you always mix crops, then tomato this season, cabbage next season, then at least you keep the balance in your soil. Yeah, I think I've answered. If maybe there's anything I left, maybe you can say so. Hi. All right, I think there's a hand.
You are being tested now by your lecturer, bro.
No, I'm not going to ask a question per se. I just want to add on the question that was asked. Also, if you plant cabbage and tomato in between, it will repel the insects because tomato has got a smell, so it will chase away the insects.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if that's all, or it seems like the food is getting cold. All right, thank you once more.
Thank you so much, Agric, for really exposing us to those traditional aspects of agriculture, especially mulching, and for being very interactive and engaging in your presentation. You actually taught some of us how to teach. Thank you. Thank you so much. But as we round up, I just wanted to alert you to these tables up front. Please take a walk around the tables. Consumer science, this is Agric with their wine from Wellington. They produce wine too, these presenters. And we have here food science and technology. We have here, is it chemistry, and then maths and physics. Please take a walk around the tables. But also, just as a final note, I'm really impressed that we stayed till this last minute. I'm so impressed. Thank you. Can we please give ourselves a huge hand of applause for that? I would, at this moment, like to invite, please, we're not going yet, just a few more minutes, like to invite our colleague, just for 1 minute. Zikona from Transformation. 1 minute. At least you can do 1 minute. When put on the spot, you can do 1 minute, I believe. I'd like to just get your reflections for a minute. You're from an important office that really oversees matters of this nature, and it would be a failure on our part not to hear your voice in.
Yeah, I think I would like to really say congratulations to the Faculty of Applied Sciences. I think all the faculties within the institution could really replicate something like this, even if it's not just on Heritage Day. So really well done to yourselves, Prof. Kyoko, Prof. Tofi, Dr. Teacher and colleagues, and to you as well as students. What you've demonstrated here today is really what the institution is about: diversity, embracing diversity, inclusivity, and belonging. So through you demonstrating what you are doing in the classroom, it's a confirmation that the institution is doing the right thing. The work is happening. But also conversations like this really amplify our transformation agenda and make it come to life, because this was a live demonstration of what transformation is about, of what diversity is about. And so it makes me very proud to be part of this institution, and also honored to be part of this great engagement. So thank you very much for all that you are doing, to everyone that is involved. You must really be proud of yourselves for all that you are learning. I think we are going to really produce graduates in you that will change the world for the better, as our mission and vision states. So thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. We also have colleagues from Fundani, Dr. Lutendo Nendauni and Ms. Puleng Sefalane, and I'll be giving the mic to one of them to do the vote of thanks before the Assistant Dean closes the event.
Afternoon. Just a quick one. I can tell people want to bounce. My name is Rutendo Nenda Uni. I'm here with OSP. We are coming from Fundani. We just want to say thank you for coming to the event. It is occasions like this that reminds us how rich and diverse our heritage is. And I believe we'll move forward and not only look at the past, but also move forward with inclusivity. And like the last speaker said, issues of belonging. You belong when your culture is acknowledged, and that is important. So we want to thank Prof. Joseph Kiyoko for the leadership, Prof. Tofi and the faculty executive, and also your active participation, guys, and also those who organized the event for months. It takes a lot of determination and a great deal of work to organize such an event. We also want to thank all the students. I was listening to your presentation. You were so eloquent, and it's good to see students exhibiting such confidence. And also to Cliff and Derek and Apiwe, thank you for your support, and also to facilitators. We have got facilities provided by Eugene. Thank you for all the logistics. People who help with gardening services, we thank you for that. And also our guest speaker, all of you. Ms. Pumla, we thank you for your presence. We thank Ms. Lucille Peterson for the admin and coordination, and Ms. Mabato for all her efforts and hard work and continuous support in preparing the meals. Auspi, one more word.
I don't have words. All that I'll do to you is to this. Thank you so much, thank you so much. I won't be wasting any time. They said 1 minute, that was the minute. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sisi Poleng. Thank you. Thanks. So please, the assistant in Prof. Tofi will give us the closing remarks. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I won't even attempt to do that. Good afternoon, colleagues, students, and our very esteemed guests who joined us today. I think Heritage Day reminds us of the diversity that makes up South Africa. And it allows us to acknowledge sometimes a very dark past that we had, but it also allows us to celebrate where we are going to. And as we bring today's Heritage Day celebrations to a close, I'm deeply inspired by the presentations of our keynote speaker, Chef Pumla Brook Tomei, our guest speakers, Dr. Mavusa and Ms. Nunkosi, and then also our staff. I think part of our students' success is the fact that our staff are innovative and transformative in their learning and teaching. And if it wasn't for them, I don't think our students would have shown the confidence that they showed today. I am extremely proud to say that I'm the Assistant Dean of this faculty, especially since I've seen what our students can do. So we began today with explorations into Indigenous food, reminding us that nutrition is not only biological, but also cultural, and food is deeply tied to communities and cultural identity. My life, growing up, was all about food. So whether it was our birthdays or celebrations or so on, we had our traditional foods which were always there. So I think that reminds us of a community spirit and then our cultural identities. Food preparation for long, healthy lives, and then alternative food sources in our edible insects. I know some of the students pulled their faces when we said edible insects, But somebody asked me one day, do you eat prawns? And I said, yes, I do. So they said, why don't you then eat insects? It's the same thing. So we saw then how herbs were used in traditional healing and beauty and are being explored in our chemistry department. We revisited traditional food growing farming methods, reminding us that ecological balance and sustainability have long been understood by those who worked the land before us. We also started a conversation on ancestral callings to improve our understanding of each other. And I think that is really what Heritage Day is all about, learning to understand our diversity and understand each other. We were also amazed at how the principle of maths and physics are embedded in the construction of traditional instruments and tools, showing us that scientific reasoning has always been part of our heritage, even when it was not called science in the formal sense. We celebrate the knowledge passed down through our generations, whether in recipes, remedies, farm practices, or craftsmanship. Our tasks as scientists is not to replace those traditions, but to learn from them and to use them as building blocks for new knowledge. This is where transformation and diversity come in. Transforming science means broadening the definition of what counts as knowledge and making this knowledge accessible to the broader society. As mentioned by one of our guests, going out into the communities and also transferring the knowledge that we learn in the classroom to the communities. We value diverse ways of knowing and are creating a faculty where Indigenous knowledge systems sit alongside modern research, each strengthening the other. So Heritage Day challenges us to see the future of science is not simply about looking forward, but also looking inward and looking backward to our roots, our traditions, and our stories. By integrating Indigenous wisdom with cutting-edge research, we not only enrich the discipline of science, but we also ensure that it serves society in a more inclusive, relative, and transformative way. So, let us leave here today with renewed commitment to honor our heritage, to embrace diversity in all its forms, and to drive transformation so that science truly reflects the knowledge, creativity, and resilience of all our people. So thank you, and may we continue to build a science faculty that celebrates both excellence and inclusivity, where heritage and innovation walk hand in hand. And so, a happy Heritage Day to everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And before we go, can I please invite Pumla up to the podium? Thank you. Thank you. As I've mentioned, I was truly inspired by this woman and her success.
Can you just step away from the podium?
Because you can't see me. I am so short that I think they need to drop this podium. So that
You want to take a picture then?
Can I use that?
Yeah.
Yeah. As mentioned, I'll be back at this. As mentioned, I was truly, truly inspired by this success of this woman, okay? She had initially one type of role where she thought she was going to be the actor and win Emmy Awards and, Oscar Awards and all those kinds of things. But she took that and she rolled it into something else, something that she knew, something she could identify with. And that gave her that success. And I want to thank you so much for coming and sharing this with us. Our students need role models. They need to see success because that sort of just gives them that little bit of edge and really will help our students along the way. So I must thank you very much. And we are going to take up the offer of inviting you back to us. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prof. Toffee. As we step out, we have food sampling, not refreshment, just food sampling, a sampling of some of the food types that were spoken about here. So please grab a piece of it on your way out.